Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today, as I promised in my last video, I'm going to be reviewing these Golden Cracklins. So this last week, doing my Fat Fast challenge, I was traveling and it was the easy thing for me to grab since I found it at a store while I was out of town. And so I'm going to talk about how that was. So for those of you that are just joining me, my name is Jessica Wolf. I decided as of July 1st that I'm going to go carnivore, and I'm doing these mini 3-day challenges each week. So this week I did the Fat Fast challenge. So when I started the first day, I really didn't eat anything. It wasn't until the second day. So this was my first fat that I was eating, these cracklings, and they are not as good as when you make the cracklings yourself from beef fat, pork fat, and bake them in the oven. Those taste much better, but these were a great substitute until I was looking at the back that there is sugar in these. And I was wondering, because I didn't have these, I was in the vehicle driving when I grabbed these and started having them, but that was the first time I was hungry, was around 32 to 34 hours, somewhere I hadn't eaten. And I was eating and going, and I think I ate about half the bag. And then I started having cravings and I was wondering why. And then I switched for my next fat. I did brown butter. And it wasn't until I got home, I decided to go to my local store, since I saw that it was available at Walmart, my local store. I went and picked them up at my local store. And I'm like, this is going to be a great thing to have while I'm traveling. We're going on vacation in another week, and I want to have something that I can have in the vehicle while I'm on vacation. But it was driving me crazy that I've never had so many cravings during this whole time. Like when I switched the switch to carnivore, I had cravings those first couple days, but not like I was having after doing this Fat Fast. And it's because the sugar in there. That is the only thing that I can think of that has made that trigger. Even with sugar substitutes, it triggers me that I am more hungry. Not that I've done the glucose, continuous glucose monitorings, and that doesn't spike my blood sugar. So different people sit there and say, oh, they're safe for you to have if they don't spike your blood sugar. But they're creating cravings for me. So I need to stay away from the sugars and the sugar substitutes. This is exactly what happened. It has the second to last ingredient is sugar. So the ingredients are fried out pork fat with attached skin, salt, sugar, and citric acid. It has just enough sugar, and there's no carbs, so it's a very little amount, but it has just enough. It triggered those cravings, and I've been trying to fight those cravings. That's one thing, that you make a mistake and all of a sudden these cravings, and usually we go off into the ditch and just give up and say we can't do this. But I'm committed to staying carnivore, and I am not going to let this mess me up. So I'm still going to be taking these on vacation. I'm going to try to avoid them, but they're for anyone else who wants them and needs a snack, or for my girls, because I think it's great for on the go. It's great that it doesn't have to be refrigerated. But there are certain times on the go, I can't prepare for everything. And I can't always cook ahead and have everything with me like I would like to. So I'd say they're great if you're transitioning. Will I buy them again? No, I will not. So this bag, I bought 2 bags, and then it was afterwards when I was having the cravings that I was like, what in the world have I eaten that is making me have these cravings? And I think that's the culprit. So am I going to be buying them again? No. I don't plan on it. I will plan to find something else, some other way, shape, or form, or planning ahead. It's really not something I'm planning on getting in the future, just because of the cravings I've been having, and that is the only thing. I haven't had any other sugar substitutes. That is the only thing that I had that had any type of sugar that is giving me these cravings. But if you are in the transition where you're switching to carnivore and you're looking for something crunchy, it might be an option. Just like pork rinds are another option. That's another thing. As far as the texture, they're not as dry as pork rinds. They reminded me of pork rinds, but they're not as dry. Usually if I eat pork rinds, I am having to have a lot to drink just to wash it down. And these were nice and crunchy. They're more crunchy than the pork rinds. It's just slightly different texture, but it did remind me of pork rinds. And as far as taste, there wasn't a whole lot of taste. Like I said, if you make your own, if you get fat trimmings and make your own in the oven or air fryer or in the pan, they taste so much better than these. So I would suggest doing that, and probably do some more planning in the future, because this was a trip that I wasn't sure if I even had a refrigerator in every location. And I had times where I didn't have refrigeration. And another struggle while I was traveling, I could find sparkling water, but man, what they call sparkling water, there's quite a few of those bottles of water that I opened and there was barely any carbonation. And I was like, okay, I like a lot of fizz. I like that carbonation. So I was struggling. I felt like I was paying more for the sparkling water, and I didn't feel like I was getting sparkling water. It really didn't taste like sparkling water. I had very few bubbles coming up when I opened it. I'm like, this is just not a good thing. I'm not happy. So I have my few brands that I know are carbonated very well, and I couldn't find them. I couldn't find them at gas stations. I went to a few different Walmarts and couldn't find them. So I struggled with my carbonated water too, because that helps me hold off my hunger and get me through. So that's another struggle, but that's going to be solved on vacation because I'm taking the SodaStream with me so I can do my own carbonated. I'll have my carbonated beverages for a trip up, and we're staying at a house and bringing the SodaStream. So I'll have that all set up. So I'll have my carbonated water as needed. All right, so that is my review. These are a great option if you're on the go, but myself, I'm probably not going to be buying them again, just because I had that tendency, like different people like, oh, carbaholics, sugaraholic. That just set a trigger and I couldn't stop, and I was looking for more sweets. And it wasn't until I was going through my food list of what was I all eating and because I had, again, different types of water, and sometimes those waters, especially tonic water or something, will have a sugar or a sugar substitute in it, to just a little sweetener. That has thrown me off in the past. So I was double checking the labels on all of that, and the only thing I can think of are these cracklings that threw me off. Not necessarily threw me off, but had me go through those cravings. That's the cravings that I want to avoid. So I won't be buying those again myself, but if it's something where you're transitioning, it may be an option for you if you're on the go. So I just wanted to share what those, I said I was going to do my review. So that's my review of what those were like, what they tasted like, what my experience was. And no, I am not planning on buying them